Today, let's take a look at some memorable moments from the Democratic campaign, where sharp and humorous jabs were thrown not only to make people laugh, but also to deliver deep political messages. One of the standout moments was Kamala Harris's remark, which took down a heckler, but was really aimed at Donald Trump. Let's revisit how Democratic leaders used wit and humor to strike Trump with intelligence and humor. Mark Cuban, the famous investor and billionaire, kicked off the rally for Kamala Harris with his confident and witty style. From the moment he appeared, Cuban created an electrifying atmosphere, making everyone feel like he was about to deliver a surprising blow to Trump. And they weren't disappointed. With cleverness, Cuban shared what he had learned throughout his business career, including how tariffs actually work. Right after Cuban, former President Bill Clinton took the stage and continued the string of humorous remarks with his signature wit and charm. He opened by poking fun at Trump's age. "I'm just 2 months younger than Donald Trump, but the good news for you is, I won't spend 30 minutes just swaying back and forth." This line had the audience roaring with laughter, referencing Trump's habit of swaying during his speeches. Clinton didn't stop there. He went on to attack Trump's threats to mobilize the military against American citizens. "The danger from within? I guess that includes me," Clinton said with sarcasm. He emphasized that the president's role is to protect the Constitution and defend against all enemies, whether foreign or domestic. Clinton's statement was both humorous and pointed, highlighting the dangers of abusing power while mocking Trump's tendency to view anyone who opposes him as enemies from within. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota and a veteran, continued to bring humor with an interesting approach when discussing gun ownership. Walz started by talking about his and Kamala Harris's legal ownership of firearms. "I'm a veteran, I own firearms, and so does Kamala Harris." But the biggest punch came when he pointed out the irony in the fact that Trump might not even pass a background check to legally own a gun. What's funny is, the guy on the other side, Trump, probably wouldn't be able to pass a background check because of his legal troubles. The most anticipated moment of the rally was certainly when Kamala Harris took the stage. As Harris was speaking, a heckler in the crowd attempted to interrupt. However, with her calm and sharp demeanor, Harris quickly turned this uncomfortable moment into a highlight. "I've said this before and I'll say it again. Go down the street to the smaller rally." Harris's quip not only silenced the heckler, but also felt like a direct blow aimed at Trump and his supporters. This rally was not just a regular political event. It was a clear demonstration of the stark differences between the two parties. Since Trump became the symbol of the Republican Party, its message has shifted toward conservative rhetoric, often heavy with fear and division. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party, especially in this year's race, has shown more energy, bringing a sense of joy and optimism to the public. The way Democratic leaders, from Kamala Harris to Mark Cuban, used humor to highlight Trump's weaknesses not only made people laugh, but also helped them clearly see the differences in thinking and leadership style between the two sides. By the end of the rally, one thing was clear. The Democratic Party didn't just win politically, they also held the advantage in making people feel happy and at ease. They intelligently used humor to point out Trump's mistakes and to inspire optimism among voters. Humor may not be the sole deciding factor in an election, but it is certainly a powerful tool that helps the Democratic Party stand out. With sharp quips and messages full of optimism, they've turned this race into a lively political stage, in stark contrast to the fear and division coming from their opponents. This campaign period serves as proof that the Democratic Party not only possesses sound policies, but also knows how to convey them with humor and joy, something that can connect with and soothe the public during a tense time in America. In another story, Donald Trump has just taken another knockdown from the courts. Many may have once believed Trump to be strong and unshakable, but reality is far different. If you look closely, Trump might actually be more concerned with his appearance and makeup than some women. What Trump cannot hide is his ongoing string of failures, particularly in legal cases, which has turned into a perfect record of losses. And this time, it was Judge Tanya Chutkan who delivered the final blow, leaving Trump reeling. We might ask, What do Trump and the Minnesota Vikings have in common? The answer is quite simple. Just as the Minnesota Vikings always lose whenever they make it to the Super Bowl, Donald Trump finds himself meeting the same fate every time he steps into a courtroom. But this time, it wasn't just a simple loss. Trump had to endure a significant blow from Judge Chutkan. Before diving into the details of Judge Chutkan's decision, let's revisit the complex context surrounding this case. Do you remember? After a series of controversial rulings, the Supreme Court granted Trump near total immunity for official acts during his presidency. This essentially created a new rule, a safe zone that doesn't naturally exist in the U.S. Constitution. However, this protection only lasted as long as Trump remained in office. And it was at this point that Tanya Chutkan entered the scene. In court, Trump repeatedly relied on false statements, including baseless claims about the 2020 election fraud. His assertions that numerous ineligible voters, ranging from deceased individuals, non-residents, and non-U.S. citizens, had cast ballots were swiftly dismissed by Judge Chutkan. She made it clear that these allegations were entirely without merit and bore no relation to any foreign cyber attacks Trump had previously referenced. Furthermore, Trump's legal team attempted to push another conspiracy theory, the false flag theory regarding the events of January 6th. They argued that the incident was orchestrated by forces opposed to Trump. However, Judge Chutkan rejected this theory outright, stating that in her courtroom, evidence and truth are paramount, not baseless conspiracy theories or stalling tactics. One of the key aspects of Judge Chutkan's ruling was her sharp criticism of Trump's legal team for requesting documents and information related to members of the Biden administration. Chutkan determined that these requests were overly broad and vague, failing to meet the necessary legal standards to support any legitimate claims for Trump. Her ruling was written in strong, decisive language, making it clear, "Your requests do not meet the necessary standard." Chutkan wanted to make one thing clear. Trump cannot use delay tactics to evade justice. She stated that Trump's arguments were merely an attempt to slow down the trial, hoping that he would be re-elected and continue to avoid legal consequences. However, Chutkan emphasized that this is not a game, and justice will not be delayed by difficult political maneuvers. Ultimately, Judge Chutkan made a clear ruling. Trump does not have immunity from prosecution. This means his legal team will have to directly face special counsel Jack Smith in the upcoming trial. Whether today or tomorrow, it is certain that Trump will soon have to face justice. Donald Trump is facing more legal challenges than ever before. What Judge Tanya Chutkan is undertaking is merely the first step in a series of events leading to the gradual decline of Trump's tumultuous political career. This string of defeats not only damages his credibility in the political arena, but also increases the likelihood that he will face serious penalties. Meanwhile, Trump continues to portray himself as a victim of bullying by the legal system and powerful political institutions. However, it is undeniable that the U.S. legal system is functioning as it should, shedding light on violations and misconducts that no individual, no matter how powerful, can escape from. Trump's lack of immunity from prosecution is a clear signal that the legal net is tightening around him. The legal actions awaiting him are not short-term issues, but could drag on for years, posing a direct threat to Trump's political future. While Trump may hope that re-election could save him from his legal troubles, the reality is that the day he faces consequences may be closer than ever. Judge Chutkan has sent a clear message to Trump and his legal team. No one is above the law, and all political strategies aimed at avoiding justice will not protect him from the inevitable rulings. Donald Trump, once a figure of immense political influence, is now gradually being trapped in legal battles from which there seems to be no recovery. As courts continue to pass unfavorable judgments against him, the tough guy image he once built is weakening rapidly. This is not just a legal saga. It's a sign that Trump's era may be slowly coming to an end. While Trump tries to use these legal battles to reinforce his image as someone fighting against the system, the truth is that he faces a series of legal obstacles that will not be easily overcome. The lawsuits and investigations will persistently follow him, draining resources and diminishing support from those who once stood firmly by his side. Donald Trump was once a symbol of strength and rebellion in American politics. However, with each step into the legal arena, that image has gradually worn down. The failures in his legal battles, particularly those related to the events of January 6th, have not only diminished his credibility, but have also highlighted an undeniable reality. Trump is not invincible. Judge Tanya Chutkan, with her final rulings, affirmed that justice does not discriminate, even against a former president. The legal system cannot be manipulated, and no one can rise above its reach. This is not only a victory for those who support fairness in the law, but also a clear indication that Trump is facing a series of challenges that he cannot easily overcome. Trump's lawyers may continue to present baseless arguments, but judges like Tanya Chutkan have made it clear that delaying tactics or attempts to mislead will no longer be effective. Every time Trump loses a case, another piece of the power structure he once built falls away, revealing flaws that can no longer be hidden. Along with his personal legal battles, Trump faces the risk of losing support from within the Republican Party. As investigations and court rulings continue to advance against him, more and more party members are reconsidering whether they should continue backing Trump. Some have begun to publicly voice their criticism, while others are quietly searching for alternative candidates. The division within the Republican Party may not happen immediately, but the signs are becoming increasingly apparent. Key figures in the party recognize that Trump is no longer the irreplaceable leader he once was, and his ongoing legal battles are severely damaging the party's credibility and future. Still, Trump maintains a large, loyal following, but whether that will be enough to sustain his influence in the long term remains uncertain. With each legal defeat, Trump's chances of securing a political victory become more obscure. The continuous string of unfavorable rulings has trapped him in a legal maze with no clear way out. Although Trump has proven himself to be a resilient fighter in the past, the legal battles he faces now are unlike any political challenges he has previously encountered. These do not merely concern his political career. They directly threaten his personal freedom and reputation. Looking ahead, no one can be certain where Donald Trump will stand in the ongoing legal battles he faces. Judges like Tanya Chutkan are becoming symbols of a legal system that shows no leniency toward violations, regardless of the high positions once held by the offender. Meanwhile, Trump continues to craft the image of a hero being persecuted by the system. He seizes every opportunity to appeal for sympathy from his supporters, painting a picture of a dark force trying to remove him from the political stage. However, with every defeat in court, public perception of Trump risks declining. Trump may be hoping for a political victory in 2024, but the legal cases and rulings against him are not going away. On the contrary, they are likely to become heavier, forcing him into a defensive position. While Trump may succeed in maintaining support from his most loyal followers, whether that will be enough to overcome the legal and political challenges awaiting him remains uncertain. In a prolonged legal battle, Trump is not only facing political enemies, but also a strong and visible legal system. For those who support justice, rulings by judges like Tanya Chutkan represent significant steps in protecting democracy and ensuring that no one, not even a former president, can be above the law. With everything that has transpired, it is clear that Donald Trump is going through a period of intense challenges. The legal cases and rulings against him are not just minor obstacles on his path to re-election, but major hurdles that could lead to the complete downfall of his political career. Thank you for reading.